world according to Jesse.
Jeremy Corbell is an investigative filmmaker with recent movie releases on Netflix and Hulu. He's known for his documentaries exploring unidentified flying objects, including Bob Lazar, Area 51, and flying saucers about UFO whistleblowers. Jeremy, welcome aboard. Thanks for coming on. Our ratings are going to spike because it's UFOs. How did you get into producing films about UFOs?
Well, look, Jesse, I have a weaponized curiosity. When I see something and I don't know what it's about, I want to learn about it. It was the Bob Lazar story that originally got me interested. I don't just produce movies. I'm a one-man show. I film, direct, edit, produce everything. So these are creations of my own desire and my own curiosity.
And you don't have to clear it with anyone if you're doing it yourself.
Absolutely. I have total freedom.
There you go. Your Netflix documentary about Bob Lazar came out in 2019. For those who don't know, who is Bob Lazar?
Yeah, Bob Lazar was an employee of the United States military. He was tasked with what's called reverse engineering, or attempting to reverse engineer a foreign technology. At the time, Bob didn't know what he was getting into. He knew he was exploring an exotic propulsion system. It turns out that he was working at a sub-base of Area 51 called Site 4, where he was tasked with trying to build with terrestrial materials recovered discs, what we know as UFOs.
Now, how did you meet Bob Lazar, and why did you make a documentary film about him?
I made a documentary film about Bob Lazar because I wanted to know the truth, just like the American public and global public wanted to know the truth. Is there substance to these craft flying with impunity in our airspace? If that is true, and historically it has been proven to be true, then where do these craft come from? Who make them? What are the intent? That is the issue that the American public has to deal with, is that there is a foreign technology far advanced from what we have. We just want to know who's flying them.
Now, the Pentagon recently released videos of unidentified flying objects. What do you make of those videos that they released?
Yeah, actually, this is extraordinary. In my work, I was able to study this event series called the Tic Tac UFO event series, the Nimitz event series. It's a military UFO event series. I was able actually to be the first person to speak with Commander David Fravor and bring him forward, the pilot that actually chased a UFO for the United States military. I was also able to bring forward the man who filmed it. So this video you're talking about is one of three. And what's so interesting is that our military kind of had to admit to it. The evidence was out. It was coming out. So instead of backpedaling, this time they did say we filmed unidentifieds that could outpace our greatest military arsenal. Who are flying these? What is the technology? We want to get it first. That's the whole reason the Pentagon came forward.
Well, you kind of answered my next question. Why do you think the government chose to disclose the videos now?
Yeah, they were forced to by the American public and the global public. Asking questions. Questions are weapons. This is something that we've been able to do over the decades. UFOs are real. This is something we all have to come to terms with now. Our military has been consistently studying the UFO phenomena. We're talking about machines, again, that are far superior to what we have. We have to look at the Bob Lazar story in a different light now that the United States military has acknowledged that these are unidentified craft of unknown origin.
So what you're telling me, if I have some fun here, in the movie Easy Rider, Jack Nicholson starts talking about these extraterrestrials that all live among us. Jack was being honest then in that movie way back in 1969. Anyway, in August, the Pentagon said it would form a task force to investigate UFO sightings. Have there been that many sightings that they need a task force?
Yeah, Jesse, this is something that the American public should know and the world public should know. There are incursions on our military bases over our nuclear weapons silos. This is something that's been going on for decades, and to acknowledge it is much more important at this time in history than to try to sweep it under the rug. We want to try and understand these technologies before a foreign or aggressive nation does. This is important.
Now, the mission of the Pentagon's UFO task force is reportedly to detect threats to national security. Have you come across anything in your research that would indicate hostile intentions by something extraterrestrial?
First of all, we don't know where these vehicles come from. We don't know who's operating them. They certainly show a leapfrog in technology from anything known to humanity at this time. So make of that what you will. But when you talk about threats, it just depends. If you have somebody break into your house and you don't know them, it's a threat. When you have these craft in restricted airspace from a military perspective, that's a threat. It's a disruptive technology, and we need to figure out what it's about.
Now, the Pentagon has had two previous UFO study programs. What do you know about these?
Yeah, this is also incredible. Actually, every branch of our military has had special access programs dealing with the UFO topic. The American public was told about two, ATIP and OSAP. And this was the $22 million that was spent. In reality, it was a lot more than that. The $22 million was only for the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. That's to identify these unknowns. However, the mother program was called OSAP, and in the title of the name is weaponization. So those two programs we know about, but Jesse, there are a lot more programs like the one Bob Lazar studied to try to reverse engineer hardware. And do remember, the New York Times did come out and the Defense Department was briefed on off-world vehicles not made on this earth. Full stop. Absorb that for a moment. We cannot deny this any longer.
Now, Congress asked the Pentagon to compile documents on UFOs for review. Do you know what's in these documents?
Well, that's the whole question, Jesse, is what does our American government know about these unidentifieds with advanced technology? Now, it would be hopeful to me to say we're going to get all the truth and nothing but the truth when it comes to Congress asking about this. But the issue is we don't know what will be supplied. This is so compartmentalized. It is one of the greatest held secrets within the United States military that we have craft of unknown origin.
Yeah, I guess it's like the president's health record and his taxes. They're both unavailable to us. What do you hope to learn from government UFO disclosures?
You know, whatever our government is willing to tell us, I'll take it. I just want to know, as I did as a child, I want to know the UFO phenomenon is real. UFOs are real. The presence of UFOs on planet Earth is real. That's big news. Of course, we have problems here, Jesse. We do. But there is a cosmic implication. There's implications to the idea that if we're not alone, then what can we glean from these technologies? And that's what Bob Lazar was working on when he was involved with these programs. And again, there's many more programs that are not yet acknowledged. And I think we're going to be learning a lot more about those.
Jeremy, I want to thank you, but I want to have fun with one last question with you. There was a great film done in 1951 called The Day the Earth Stood Still. Do you think that we'll get a visit from an extraterrestrial who will come down here with somebody like Gort and tell us to stop fighting?
You know, I love that idea, Jesse. And man, Hollywood sometimes gets it right. Sometimes they get it wrong. But the main thing is this, is that if we can learn anything about this, it's been held from the American public. It's game changing. And I truly believe we're on the precipice right now of being told the truth to some degree. And I think it will be world changing. It might make us look like our problems are trivial compared to the idea of a spacefaring nation, which we're getting close to in the sense of, you know, the idea of going to Mars and putting humans on Mars. It's an exciting time, Jesse. And there is a lot of fun in the UFO topic, or I wouldn't be involved. But, you know, my films are not just entertainment. They're documentaries that reveal things that weren't known before. I encourage you to go watch them.
Thank you very much, investigative filmmaker Jeremy Corbell. Keep up the great work, and Jeremy, we love to have you back because you mean ratings.
Okay, Jesse, anytime. I'm a fan. Thanks for having me on.